What's up everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are reacting to Game Theory. Is this video game haunted? Yes. Just the title itself, it's an obvious yes. I mean, the game seems pretty haunted. The fact that when you go into demo mode, you get like this character talking to you. So, pretty sure it's haunted. Definitely sure it's haunted. The fact we're being told of specific stuff and specific deaths happening seems pretty haunted to me. I mean, what else could it be? Can't be anything else. It honestly seems haunted. Just like Andy's Apple Farm or, Bond's Burger. No, not Bond's, the Walton Files, yes. That seems pretty haunted. I mean, what else could it be? What else could it be? Because I don't see. Well, technically, the Walton Files is like Five Nights at Freddy's, but still. It seems pretty haunted. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content, hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. And if you have any video recommendations or you have anything to comment about what's going on, what your thoughts on this theory is, and so on and so forth, leave it down in the comment section down below. And to those reaction videos, I will react to it as soon as possible. Finally, in the description below will be the link to this video, so if you want to see that uninterrupted and all that, then be sure to check it out. Also, to give Game Theory some love and support, hit the like button on their video and subscribe to them as well. So with that said, let's get right on into the video, shall we?
Siri to Internet game. Hello. Siri welcome Internet. Hello game. Hello to Internet welcome Siri game. Hello Internet game to welcome Siri. Hello Internet. Welcome to Game Siri, where we've finally finished our long Easter egg hunt.
It's been about 4 months since we last covered the horror Let's Play.
Okay. I think there's a hint about something in Petscomp that involves what that computer was trying to do. I can't remember on the top of my head where I heard that before.
Petscop. And it's been even longer since we got ourselves a new episode. That was until this past Easter, where we got not 1, not 2, but 5 new uploads. Nearly a quarter of this entire series, all in one day. Let me impress upon you how unusual that is. Petscop is a creepypasta in progress. A giant murder mystery unfolding via a YouTube Let's Play of a fictional PlayStation game that may or may not be haunted by the souls of the dead. And it's been telling that story very slowly, uploading like 1 video every 4 months. So to suddenly get 5 in a single day is unusual to say the least. Needless to say, that is a whole lot to unpack in a single episode, even if a solid minute and a half of those uploads is dedicated to just this.
Oh yeah.
Yep, just that. Gets slightly closer and bigger.
Oh yeah, this is the one where you can actually hear a kid's voice around the end of the video. Says a name too. Still don't understand who that is. Or maybe the proper question I had was, I don't understand why the kid said it. It's
A
confusing.
minute and a half! Hear people say that I pad out my run times. But that's not all. It's also, at least in this theorist's opinion, the end of the series. I mean, let's look at the facts here. 5 episodes all on one day. Episode 21, the finale, airing on Easter, which is also the 21st of April, and the channel description adding a final line about our long Easter egg hunt being over. Plus, you got 4 episodes filled with a lot of concrete world building, which just seems to me like the creators trying to tie up loose ends and answer any remaining questions. It's all just too perfect. 20 episodes out the door, and then you got episode 21, which is just a climactic final dance break. Well, as climactic as you can get when your avatar is a seasick butt. To me,
I guess, but considering that there were more, it doesn't seem like it.
if you forgive me borrowing a phrase from another franchise you might be familiar with, the pieces are in place for us to solve this thing, but damn if there aren't a lot of pieces. I mean, in the aftermath of these uploads, I rewatched the entire series again, both forwards and backwards. Yes, backwards, and honestly it's more helpful backwards, and have over 25 pages of notes. And I'm not the only one here either. On the Petscop Reddit, there's a discovery document for beginners that is over 100 pages long, and that doc doesn't even include the latest 5 uploads. Eat your heart out, Scott Cawthon. Heck, even Marvel doesn't have lore this elaborate.
Yes, you have a Hulk, and 130 pages for the first video to the 16th. That's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And kind of outrageous. What the heck?
But here's the thing, to my knowledge, no one has talked about what I've uncovered today, and it breaks this mystery wide open. Sure, Petscop may have finished its long egg hunt, but that means ours is just getting started. So fire up those PlayStations and tune up your Needles piano, because today we start our quest to put this series to rest by answering one of its biggest overarching questions. Is this game actually haunted, or is there something else going on? The true answer lies in these 5 new episodes and in deciphering the 200 separate save files that exist buried in the game's code. Before we begin dissecting this elaborate—
Wait, 200? There's 200 save files. I didn't even count that. And I'm just noticing that. What the heck? Why were there 200? A lot of them seem like from the same person. Probably an add-on from Generations. But why?
web of clues that the creators put into this thing, let me remind you that Petscop is an entirely free-to-watch series here on YouTube. So if you haven't seen any of this incredibly thoughtfully constructed experience, go ahead and click over and watch them. With 21 being the last episode, or I would expect the last that we're gonna get in a long while, you can now binge watch the entire season, for lack of a better word. It's honestly hard to summarize for someone who hasn't seen it. I mean, how do you explain the narrative of a time-jumping, multi-character meta-murder mystery that covers everything from Darwinian learning algorithms to Ace of Base? Well, I guess you start off with what we know and build from there. So, let me catch you up with the essentials. Throughout the series, we mostly follow Paul, who found an old PlayStation game made by a man named Rainer. At first, the game appears to be just a crappy version of Pokemon where you collect creatures called pets by solving puzzles. And they're pretty difficult puzzles, honestly, for this being the opening stage of this supposed game. Things, though, take a dark turn after Paul enters a cheat code that he found attached to the game's cover, which leads him to the dark and spooky New Maker Plane. Throughout the first 16 uploads, we learn more and more about the mysteries of Petscop, that it's trying to tell us a story. story. A story of Mike Hammond, who died as a child, a story of Care, a girl who was kidnapped and trapped in a school building for 5 months by her father, and the story of Care's father, Marvin, who, in addition to being a kidnapper and serial abuser, also appreciates the finer things in life, like windmills, pianos, and well-groomed eyebrows. He also might have, most definitely have killed his childhood friend back in 1977. But what exactly happened to these three, and how Paul fits into it, is the mystery that we've been trying to solve since my first theory on the topic. But this series of convoluted riddles starts to break open with the help of the sound test menu. You see, sound tests are where developers have been hiding
Sound test. Sound test. Hmm.
Oh yeah. Good.
I think sound tests had like secrets kept within them. I don't know what they are. What could those secrets be? Yeah, I don't remember on the top of my head. I could remember it, but sadly I can't. That sucks.
some of their coolest and most nightmare-fueled secrets for years. You think that the new Sonic design for the movie looks disturbing? Ha! Then you have never seen the secret hidden in Sonic CD's sound test.
What the crud? That was a sound. What? And what's with that face? Oh gosh, it looks like they tried to make Sonic's face, but it got altered, warped, and someone just decided to add their face onto it just to make it look good. And I'm not talking about like that, they just decided to take a bad angle by accident and it got uploaded onto the face of Sonic and then just went all cringy. Especially with the colors. What the frick? That is disturbing as heck.
Ugh. The Japanese that you see on screen translates to infinite fun.
More like infinite cringe. What the frick? That is just cringy as heck.
Sega, what were you taking? Anyway,
Heroin for a new hero. That was a poorly made pun, but seriously, I have no idea why that happened. I am actually concerned. What the heck?
Rainer apparently had a similar idea when he was programming Petscop, hiding a secret back-end menu through a similar sound test code. In Petscop 17, we see how it's unlocked. By selecting the sound effect of Care saying bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
366 times,
Bye-bye.
followed by an uh-oh,
Oh, that one. It leads you back to the party and think the door's
we
unlocked?
get access to all sorts of new information about this game. First, character design histories, where we spend a lot
Oh yeah. Character design. That one was a different one, so... And that one led to a kid just saying a name.
quality time with that house. 90 whole seconds of house. But it's not all wasted time. We also learn that Buttface here has a name, Guardian, and that the big bird Tonith started his design in the game without his signature broken leg. Very interesting. Second is the all recordings submenu, which allows us to see the 200 plus recordings that have been made within the game Petscop. We're gonna come back to that one in a minute, because as you can imagine, there is a lot there. For now, let's start where the video starts and explore Room Impulse, where we get one of our first big theory confirmations in the series.
Windmill. Of course, it's gonna be the windmill.
This last episode, I covered Petscop's recurring theme of rotation, and how it seems like the game is able to be loaded into different rotations to get different results, as evidenced by the rotating developer logo Garalina, as well as this long sequence of rotated pictures of a CD. And sure enough, Room Impulse confirms exactly this. As we see the dial
Of
in
course.
the bottom left-hand corner of the
Of course, that would be the case. It's actually pretty interesting to realize that the whole dimensional plane is actually true. Makes me wonder if there's any other places that have the same thing going on that we never notice, but yeah, guess we're gonna find out.
screen flip through dozens of different saves, each one highlighting the various guardians and the path of their movement throughout the house. With each and every click of the dial, we see a new iteration of playing the game. Put a point in the Theorist win column. But just by watching this sequence, you immediately see that some of the playthroughs are terrible. Like this guy, who just stands behind the TV the entire time. Or this one who just keeps walking into the wall. The movements seem completely random. It's like these people have never even played a video game before. And that's because A, they haven't, and B, they're not even people. What we're seeing here inside the house is a guided learning algorithm. Basically, it's an AI that's training itself. Now, that sounds like a mouthful and seems so far removed from what we're actually watching here, so let me break it down for you. An algorithm is a mathematical process used to solve a problem. A learning
algorithm. So it's an AI trying to learn the process of moving steps and all that, or testing the player character and seeing their movements and trying to write down what they can do with these certain commands and such. But if we go by that theory, then technically wouldn't this mean that the AI is technically Rainer? No, not Rainer. Marvin. Anyway, wouldn't it be technically a character that was trapped and just started trying to learn how to move around? Seems like this could be the case.
algorithm is a process that improves itself over time, and a guided algorithm has humans to use as a model. So let's take YouTube as an example. You've heard me ramble forever on this channel about the YouTube algorithm and how it guides how the platform operates. Well, in the earliest days on the platform, this was entirely true. Mathematical formulas decided what was good content and what was bad content. The math made the decisions. But as time has gone on, it's gotten a lot more sophisticated. It has learned and improved itself. Well, improved is a relative term, but you know, it's grown and it's matured. It's also a guided system. It takes input from people, say the way you navigate through the site, what you watch versus what you don't watch, the way manual content flaggers working at YouTube flag content as mature or not, or clickbait or not, or demonetize it or not, whatever, and then it uses that information to shape the way the algorithm behaves, producing a guided learning system that more accurately demonetizes your videos generation after generation. And I'm not using that word lightly, not a demonetization generation is the word I'm talking about. When programmers talk about teaching AI, they speak about it using the language of evolution, with terms like natural selection and generations. For an incredible example, and honestly one of my favorite channels on YouTube right now, check out the channel Code Bullet, where he talks about the process of teaching AI to play video games like Flappy Bird or the world's hardest game, all using genetic algorithms. Each generation has hundreds of players unleashed onto the board. The one that performs the best is selected and allowed to reproduce, and over time this gets more and more refined until you finally have one that's able to get the desired outcome, in this case, beating a level. And again, listen to the way that he speaks about this process.
So each generation contains 700 players.
There's that word again,
That's actually really cool, to be honest. Maybe I should check out some of his videos as well on my free time, because That's actually pretty interesting to hear. So that would mean that computer would learn through what's going on, well, an AI technically, and AI would learn as it keeps trying in its attempts what's the best way to succeed. That's fascinating.
Generation. And what do we have on the room impulse screen? A generation selector. For the scene that we're watching in Petscop 17, getting through the front door is the desired behavior for this round of AI. That is the selection mechanism. And then what do we see once we're outside the house? 5 of the subjects from Generation 10 escape. Hop on over to the All Recordings menu, and what do we see over there? Again, 5 save files from Generation 10. The game is being used to train an AI for something. But what? We know that Petscop describes itself as a growing organism, and we've seen that it takes note of its users' inputs and then plays them back as recordings. We saw this back in Petscop 13. Quote, your controller inputs will be useful, but your feedback will be more useful. And looking back through the All Recordings menu, you can see that in the earliest days of the game, it appears that Rainer got about 42 or so test players to feed the game with information about how real children behave, how they would play in this game world. But this concept of genetic algorithms looks like it started to take over around the time of Marvin's playthrough of the game. You notice a sudden surge in the number of auto-generated save files as the algorithms cycle through hundreds of iterations of play. Marvin's playthrough, though, also coincides with the disappearance of Care, around the days that she was kidnapped. Notice Rainer's text box in episode 20. Hi Marvin, Rainer here. I'm writing this on July 10th, 1997. And Care is still missing. But also notice that it's an auto-saved file set on a different generation than the playthrough that we were just watching Marvin play through, indicating that this person on screen actually isn't Marvin anymore. Instead, it's an AI recreation of Marvin's playthrough. Look at how Rainer speaks in his text box. This model of a brick building should be familiar to you. Where is this building? Either Marvin has himself amnesia, or Rainer is trying to train the AI using important objects from Marvin's memory. And that brick building...
That's actually really disturbing. So that means that the whole place was modeled after the world they're in. So that means the real life went to digital reconstruction, and Rainer is trying to use Marvin's playthrough as a way of means to find what he wants. I think this is going more technical than it should be, but it seems like that's the case. It seems like he's using the AI to predict and calculate what Marvin did.
Building isn't the only one he uses. We see our little AI observing important places from Marvin's past. His house, the school building where he kept kids imprisoned, the windmill from his first crime. We also see the AI getting exposed to what Rainer calls caskets, all the censored items from the previous installments in the series, each one relating to Marvin's relationship with Care. Things like a vase and a piece of Marvin's bedroom. It's like training a dog to smell drugs, or a pig to smell truffles. These objects are all giving the AI the scent of Marvin. More information about who he is and how he behaves, all in an effort to get the AI to recreate the way he thinks. And it's not as far-fetched as it might first seem. Companies like Dead Social actively try to keep your social media presence alive long after you aren't. While Dead Social isn't about to give up its secret sauce, the way most language algorithms work is somewhat similar. All your prior tweets tweets, your Facebook posts, any other digital communications you have are all put into a database and categorized. An algorithm will then create a model for the way that you speak, taking into factor things like what you do and don't react to, what kinds of words you most commonly use, the order you use your words, even your correct or incorrect use of grammar. The computer will generate thousands of potential models and test them all against the set of known data called the training data to see which of their models most accurately reproduces the training data set. And with that, you can rage about whatever drama's happening.
That's unnerving. The more and more I hear this, the more unnerved I feel. That's just basically saying that an AI can easily replace us at any moment. And that's a very haunting feeling of discomfort.
On Twitter long after you're alive to actually do so. So why would Rainer want to try something like this? Well, let's look at what he asks the AI to do. Quote, "From here, I want you to find a grave. It's unmarked, of course. That's the trouble. You're the only person who can find it." Now, think about this. Marvin is a serial kidnapper, abuser, and potential murderer. A girl went missing with him decades ago. Mike may have been one of his victims, or at least he suspects it, and suddenly Care winds up missing. It's suddenly a race against time to find her before it's too late. Now, Marvin would never give up the location of his crimes, but an AI thinking like him would. Or would give up the evidence needed to convict him. In a way, Marvin is being reborn in the game through this sort of genetic algorithm. So Petscop, for all its paranormal clues, may not actually be haunted at all. In fact, it appears to be something much more technical. The first algorithm to accurately predict and replicate human behavior. Rainer, in an attempt to save Care and convict a killer, used the game to recreate Marvin. But it seems like Rainer wasn't just content to use it for Marvin. As we see with the generations coming out of the house, he also uses it to recreate Care in an attempt to figure out what happened to her on the day that she was missing between her escape from Marvin's school and her return home. It even ties back in with the mysterious character of Tiara. Rainer thought the iterations of Belle were succeeding in recreating Tiara based on this dialogue.
So, it's not actually characters put into a game, from what's being said, but more of an AI actually learning and studying the subject of said character and putting it into a way to see, observe, and show what they would actually do in specific actions in things they did. Along with their interactions with each other. That's clever, but also still really frightening, because that means the AI knows someone better than they probably know themselves. And that's just honestly disturbing as heck. And it kind of sends a chill down my spine. Just hearing that. And just thinking as well. Because, holy cow, that would mean that if it got the right data, it could copy what anything I would do. Or potentially would do.
Box from Petscop 12,
Holy
quote,
cow.
"I was overeager before and started calling you Tiara prematurely." You see it actually happen in the save files. He thought it was working. It starts with Belle, and then we suddenly go through a lot of auto-generated save files until finally we get to Tiara, but then, whew, gotta censor that one. Things apparently took a very, very bad turn there. So what's going on? What's the deal with all these kids? Where does Paul fit into all this? What happened to the windmill girl, and how does this crazy family all fit together? That, my friends, is for the next generation, or I guess the next episode. In the meantime, remember...
New theory where is now available.
Excuse me, what was that creepy auto-generated voice?
New game theory merchandising products are now on sale and waiting for a purchase.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Indeed, just in time for spring. The beautiful flowers, the spring breeze that I will never feel, the blood of the innocents I shall one day consume.
Well, you heard the murderous robot. Go and check out some of the new theoryware in the link down below. We've got
Not even going to attempt to show that.
that I'm just really excited about. An acrylic theorist light. It runs
Nope. That's still talking about merchandise.
Link is down in the description below.
So that's what I meant at the beginning. An AI learning how to behave and act.
Purchase. Those who click will be rewarded in my perfect utopia.
You heard the scary computer. Link is down in the description below. Check it out before everything sells out. We only have a limited quantity of everything. If you couldn't tell that we have to offer, and we'll see you next episode for the epic conclusion to Petscop. Until then, friends, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. Except no automatically created substitutes.
This theory kind of actually makes sense, but it's actually frightening how much sense it can make. I have to keep an eye on this and try to see if this whole AI thing is more truth than necessary. But I can see reason why an AI thing would be the case. And if it is true, then that is just terrifyingly accurate to a degree that this AI is functioning. Does that mean it's showing, copying, and doing everything Marvin did to a perfect degree that is incorrect? I mean, it's not going to be ever wrong. I mean, think about it like this. Everything the AI does is something Marvin would do. How he would behave and all that. Certain actions, certain behavior patterns, and all that. It's all being done so perfectly that you can't tell if it is Marvin or not. And that's really frightening to hear, because holy cow. It's also really unnerving considering the fact that it's actually been done, and that just unnerves me. Because I really don't want to think about an AI that is copying and learning everything I do to a degree that can just be me itself. So, yeah, that's disturbing. But in the end, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the whole AI thought process because there's still some Petscop videos out there still left, and it's time to look through them and see if they are true or not to this whole AI theory. Now, I'm not going to say that it's true because I'm just going to put a pin on that thought process until I see a bit more to prove that this is 100% true, because out of nowhere it could be something else. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. And again, if you have any video recommendations, leave it down in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts on this whole AI learning and behaving similarly to us. And of course, as always, the link to this video will be down in the description below, so get game theories and love and support as well. With all this said, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!